Frederick Douglass was an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. He became the most important leader of the movement for the African American civil rights in the 19th century. After escaping from slavery in Maryland, Douglass became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York, during which he gained fame for his oratory and decisive anti-slavery writings. Accordingly, he was described by abolitionists in his time as the living counterexample to enslavers' arguments that enslaved people lacked the intellectual capacity to function as independent American citizens. Northerners at the time found it hard to believe that such a great orator had once been enslaved. It was in response to this belief that Douglass wrote his first autobiography. Douglass wrote 3 autobiographies describing his experiences as an enslaved person in his narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, 1845, which became a bestseller and was influential in promoting the cause of abolition, as was his second book, My Bondage and My Freedom, in 1855. Following the Civil War, Douglass was an active campaigner for the rights of freed slaves and wrote his last autobiography, Life and Times of Frederick Douglass, first published in 1881 and revised in 1892. 3 years before his death, the book covers his life up to those dates. Douglass also actively supported women's suffrage, and he held several public offices without his knowledge or consent. Douglass became the first African American nominated for Vice President of the United States as the running mate of Victoria Woodhull of the Equal Rights Party ticket. Douglass believed in dialogue and in making alliances across racial and ideological divides, as well as after breaking with William Lloyd Garrison in the anti-slavery interpretation of the U.S. Constitution. When radical abolitionists under the motto "No Union with Slaveholders" criticized Douglass' willingness to engage in dialogue with slave owners, he replied, "I will unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong."